Hey y'all, welcome back. Happy Saturday. We've got some more Jimmy Barnes, but it's not going to be quite the same as usual. I mean, he's not going to be performing. I was looking at, or on YouTube, looking for Jimmy Barnes documentary. That's what I typed in, and this was the first thing that popped up. And the title is Aussie rock legend Jimmy Barnes iconic 1988 interview, and this is on 60 Minutes Australia, but the word iconic caught my attention, so I'm wondering if any of you guys remember this or if you happened to catch it when it came on. Yeah, I want to know more about Jimmy. I really just need to read his books that he put out. But I figured this would be a good start. They said it was 14 and a half minutes long, so hopefully it's, again, iconic. I mean, I don't know what we're going to see here, if he's going to just talk about like his life or I don't know. But let's get into it, man.
Johnny Farnham may have been named Australian of the Year, but for a lot of rock fans, Jimmy Barnes is still the closest thing we've got to a working class hero. The kid from the wrong side of the tracks who tells it, or at least sings it, like it is. Barnes started off as the rebellious lead singer of Cold Chisel. He was well known as a real hellraiser with his heavy boozing and wild, wild ways. But then someone came along to help change all that. You'll meet her a bit later in the story.
He ain't worried about the Bible, or come to just feed him the glass. Life's too short for burning bread. If his measure is a string of hit records and an army of almost fanatical fans, then Jimmy Barnes is a superstar. Australia's #1 heavy rocker. He sung his way out of a railway yard into a lifestyle he'd only ever dreamed about.
I think you've got to find what you're going to do in life and do it. It doesn't matter whether you're a rock singer, a politician, or...
Wait, I think I picked up on it. Yeah, so he was born in Scotland, and I had forgotten about that, and you guys reminded me again. And so I think I detected a little bit of that accent. I think it was when the way he pronounced "do." It definitely sounded more Scottish. But let's go back here a little bit.
I think you've got to find what you're going to do in life and do it. It doesn't matter whether you're a rock singer, a politician, or you bake bread. As long as you do it, with conviction, I guess.
A song from his latest album that sold over 500,000 copies. It's about a truck driver, and it goes a long way to explain the success of Jimmy Barnes, the hard-living, hard-loving, working-class hero. A role he played to the hilt, and that almost brought him unstuck.
Like at one stage, I was drinking like a bottle of whiskey and a bottle of Drambuie on stage in like an hour, and I'd just be gaga.
Did he say Jambrewy? Is that so like a mixed drink or something? But y'all had told me that on the Wild Thing video, that back in those days that he was just going crazy, like 2 bottles of vodka, like during just one show, over a couple hour period or something. So I don't even know how that's possible without just passing out. That's insane, man. Hold up.
The Drambuie on stage,
Let me go back just a little bit more. I want to hear that again.
And that almost brought him unstuck.
Like at one stage, I was drinking like a bottle of whiskey and a bottle of Drambuie on stage in like an hour, and I'd just be gaga, and like I remember me and a couple of the guys in the band would be out drinking on binges and stuff, and we'd be up for 3 or 4 days, crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah, there it is.
He's talking about his days with the band that made him famous, Cold Chisel. Famous not just for his singing. His behaviour both on and off stage earned him the reputation as the wild man of rock and roll.
He really was.
But unlike most rock stars, it wasn't just an image. What you saw is what you got.
It must have got close to the point where your health was at risk. Did it ever get to that?
Oh, I was too hungover to notice. It was. I didn't at the time. Obviously, didn't think about it. When you're 18, you're invincible. And let's face it, when I was 18, I didn't even want to live to be 30. I thought, God, 30, he wants to be 30, you know. Live fast, die young, have a good-looking corpse, you know.
This is awesome. This is, it feels a bit more similar to like a documentary more so than just an interview. You know, I like how they're cutting to the different concert footage and then discussing that lifestyle. That's cool, man.
30, you know. Live fast, die young, have a good-looking corpse, you know.
I think that barnsy and cultures really became that focal point for the aspirations of a whole army of working class people who really did think that it was a very manly thing to do, to be able to go out there and sort of drink and rage and rock hard and keep bouncing back from it. And
Journalist and rock and roll historian Glenn A. Baker.
I don't think Jimmy, when he was bending the elbow or when he was getting up on stage and screaming and roaring, had any thought in the back of his mind that says, I'm becoming the working class hero, or I'm creating a blueprint for others to follow. He was just doing what came naturally. He was just doing what anybody else from his background who had come into those circumstances would do. He was being Jimmy Barnes.
I like it.
To understand Jimmy Barnes, it helps to know where he came from. Elizabeth, a satellite town near Adelaide, a tough training ground for any kid. Jimmy came here with his family from Glasgow when he was 5. He quickly learned that surviving in Elizabeth meant knowing how to fight.
The terrible thing about Elizabeth is there's nothing for teenagers to do there at all. And yeah, really bored, and basically we'd go out and fight, you know, and maybe, you know, whoever looked the oldest would try and sneak in and get some booze.
Why would you
We'd all
fight?
get drunk on a bottle of beer.
Why would you fight? What would start a fight?
Nothing started the fight. Fighting was something that was just par for the course. That's what you did for fun in Elizabeth. You know, like it was beat or be beaten sort of syndrome there, you know, like we'd do it like people we didn't know.
And beaten he sometimes was. Like the time young Jimmy learnt his first lesson of the streets. Always pick on someone your own size.
This is the last time I ever picked a street fight. There was a guy who was probably, you know, just a quiet bloke, you know. He's a big guy, you know, bigger than me, but he was just a quiet bloke. And I followed him for about a couple of 100 yards. I went up to him, stopped him again, and said, let's go. And he said, no, look, I really don't want to fight you, don't do it. And he walked away. So I walked up and I hit him, and he turned around and beat the shit out of me, you know. He gave me a real kicking, you know.
Was that the last fight you ever had?
Yeah, but he kicked me to bits. No, that wasn't the last fight I ever had. It's the last one I ever picked.
That's crazy to grow up in that type of environment where, you know, obviously young boys all over the world, they always, you know, get into little scuffles, but to actually go out looking for it, and that was just the thing to do, you know, that's crazy, man. That's, I don't know if it was just out of boredom, like looking for the thrill, or like an instinctual kind of test of manhood or something like that, but that's wild, man.
Me to bits. No, that wasn't the last fight I ever had. It's the last one I ever picked.
Like most kids at Elizabeth, when you left school, you got a trade. At 16, Jimmy got his first job, an apprentice in a railway foundry. He lasted 8 months.
I'd say he was the biggest larrikin that I ever had under me.
Not the kind of recommendation you'd boast about, but then Tony Matthews should know. He was Jimmy's first boss in that railway foundry.
What was Jimmy like as a worker?
As a worker, all right, as a worker, when he worked.
What do you mean when he worked?
Well, you had to find him, he's a bugger.
He was hard to find, was he?
Well, he's hard to find, all right, yeah, he'd be sitting behind the boxes playing bloody euchre with another joker, or, you know... Sleeping.
Sleeping on the job during the day, and at night doing this.
So he said playing euchre. Is that like a card game or something? I've never heard of that. But that's funny though. That guy was his boss, and he's just sitting there roasting him like this famous rock hero. You know, that's crazy. This is like a good like interview documentary, whatever. This is really good, man.
The job during the day, and at night doing this.
This battered old film, taken by a friend, stands as a bit of a classic. It shows Jimmy starting out with cold chisel, long before he could afford any lavish video clips. The working class hero had hit the launching pad to a wild ride to success.
At the time, Jimmy was no angel. He had one of the wildest reputations in the business.
Yes.
What did your parents say when you said, I'm going out with Jimmy Barnes?
Well, they didn't like it very much and they asked me to go home.
She couldn't have come from a more different world. Jimmy's wife, Jane, a diplomat's daughter from Thailand who fell in love with the raging Aussie rock star.
Did you fall in love with the man, or was it perhaps his music and the lifestyle that went with it?
Well, I think the man, because I certainly wasn't, I had no idea of his lifestyle until after I'd met him. And, one of the reasons why I did go back to my parents was because I couldn't understand and accept his lifestyle.
Why was that?
Because it was just so self-destructive, more than anything.
He was drinking too much?
Just everything. We just partied 3 days non-stop, 3-4 days. We just crazy.
Wait, so she was a diplomat's daughter, or is a diplomat's daughter? That's crazy, man. I follow Jimmy Barnes on Twitter, and it's clear that his wife here, she takes good care of him, and it does seem that was the catalyst, I guess, or like the missing piece that made him kind of slow down, still do the music and do an awesome job, but just kind of chill on the booze and everything. So that's good, man. Yeah, you really can't be a good man unless you have a good woman. It's trust me, a lot of men, they need that voice of reason. Like, don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, trust me, we all need to hear it sometimes. But yeah, let's go.
Just crazy.
If there's one thing that means more to him than his music, it's Jane. He wrote this song about her because he really believes that without her love, he would not be around.
Let's take one song, Without Your Love. Now, does that express your thoughts for Jane? Does that say it all?
Yeah, well, it says a bit about what we were talking before about the drinking and whatnot, because basically, if Jane wasn't there, I probably would still be doing what I was doing, and I probably literally would be dead. But between Jane and my family, they gave me something to live for, I guess.
What you're saying, Jimmy, is that Jane really saved your life.
Yeah. But I saved her from a really boring career at university,
Excuse me, that's crazy. Yeah, he was saying drinking 2 bottles of liquor on stage during a show to go in now to being like a family man. That's crazy, man. But yeah, he's right. He probably, if you continue to just go on and on like that, it's going to catch up with you really fast. So good on Jane for setting Jimmy straight. All right, let's go.
Boring career at university.
Here we go. Ready? Is my story sad but true? Jackie, come over here. You got to be in the backing group.
3 more reasons for rock's heavy rocker to slow down. His daughters Mahalia and Eliza Jane, and son Jackie.
Ready? Hip, hip.
It's not like, like you can finish a show and go out and drink for 3 days, because, you finish a show and you go back and see if your babies are okay.
Sing, let's go.
So marriage and being a dad has tamed Australia's wild man of rock and roll?
I'd say so, yeah. Not completely, though.
Is that something you bridle at when people suggest that marriage has tamed Jimmy Barnes?
No, it's definitely done something to me. It's definitely tamed me a bit, But But it's not like I've been broken or anything. It's from my own choice, you know.
Yeah, I think as a man you have to kind of make that distinction, you know, because if you go from that crazy lifestyle to being significantly more responsible, you know, people are going to start talking and just like making assumptions on why that change is happening. So, but yeah, this is this is crazy, man. Yeah, 1988. That is so long ago. I was so little at that time, you know, but I still have these memories of the way the world looked, just the kind of like attire and clothing and the way people acted on TV and in shows. You know, I love going back to that time period. All right, let's go.
It's from my own choice, you know.
And guess who's following in Dad's footsteps? The first birthday present little Jackie ever got was a guitar.
Let's go.
And what's 3-year-old Eliza Jane Barnes doing here? Ask her father and he'll tell you it's perfectly normal. You see, when Jimmy Barnes goes on tour, so does the family.
We toured America last year and everybody thought it was crazy. One, because of the expense, and two, because, you know, rock and roll bands don't take their wives and kids on the road. They're supposed to be out, you know, locking up people's daughters and things, you know. But basically, that's the only way I can tour, because if I don't have them there, you know, I just end up, I can't work, and I have to come home.
Come on.
Today,
I know that feeling. I have to go work out of town sometimes, and after especially after a day or two, it's like I'm just ready to come home. You know, I don't mind working out of town, but it's just once you have a family and you've had a family for so long, it's like I don't know, it's just not natural to be away from them. You know, so that's cool, man.
Come on.
Today, Jimmy lives with his family on a country estate near Sydney. So you might ask, in becoming the wealthy family man, has Jimmy Barnes strayed too far away from his working class world? Not according to Jimmy.
I love people, you know, who work and who are battlers, you know. I feel strongly for them. I feel really close to them because, you know, that was, you know, I know what they've been through.
You still see yourself as a working class man?
Definitely.
You're showing your forehead. Hi, kids.
Take him back to the old pub where it all began, the Largs Pier Hotel in Adelaide, and you'll soon see that Jimmy Barnes remains very much in tune with his roots.
Adele.
There will always be a place at the bar here for the local hero.
Do you know that?
And what does his old boss, Tony Matthews, think about the way his apprentice turned out?
Now, he definitely must be a better bloody singer than what he would have ever made a tradesman. That's for sure. I mean, so that's natural.
Would you like to go to one of Jimmy's concerts?
No.
Really?
Bore me to tears. All that blab, 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 blab.
The boy from Elizabeth is giving it everything he's got, straight from the heart, just like he's always done. It's almost as if he feels he has a debt to pay, and maybe he has.
I owe a lot to the people who buy my records and the people who come and see us because, you know, they've taken me from the foundry to, you know, to living in the lap of luxury, basically.
Oh, is that it?
Hello, I'm Tara Brown.
Let's see what she says.
Thanks for watching. To keep up with the latest from 60...
Oh, okay, it's like that type of thing. Okay, so Yeah, that was awesome. That felt like it felt more like a documentary than it did an interview. I was expecting, I don't know, I guess just like a one-on-one interview and him just telling all or something like that, you know. But that was awesome, man. Shout out to Jimmy Barnes. I hate that I think there was either 2 or 3 songs that I'm certain I have not heard those before. So it kind of sucks that I got a little bit of a spoiler. I didn't really know that that's what I was getting into, but it is what it is. You know, it's all good. It's not like I've heard the whole songs or anything. So if y'all know what, I think it was the last song they were playing. They were jamming. Let me know what that one is. I would love to see that one. But yeah, I don't know. You guys let me know. I don't know if this video was too long. I was kind of worried about that. I saw before we started it was 14.5 minutes, but just let me know. That was fun. You know, it's a little bit different. I know this is a music channel, and we just always do music, but I just wanted to try something different. And for the other people that have become Jimmy Barnes fans, or if you are and you've never seen this interview, you know, I kind of wanted to just like share that moment with you guys. But yeah, if you guys thought this was okay, then if y'all know of any more Jimmy Barnes type of like epic interviews or documentaries or anything that we can do on YouTube, I'd love that, man. But yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one.